tournament where my friend John said he found a body in the bushes over there. I ran over there because I'm a healing monk to try and help, but obviously my magic wasn't strong enough because the dude's body was missing a head. So my friend decided to try and use a necromancer spell, which didn't work, which I knew it wouldn't. And apparently we contaminated the crime scene because that spell uses a lot of glitter.
Your Honor, I object!
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
Because it's devastating to my case!
I gotta tell you, you brighten my day, ma'am. All right?
That's what the last guy said, and then he sued me.
What is happening? Hello, good people of the interwebs. Welcome back to the Brit Happens channel. I am Brit Happens. Good evening, Dickie. Glad you're here, my friend. Jessica's here today. Oh man, we've got Christina. And by the way, go ahead and give Christina a super applause because she is now the newest member of the Brit Happens mod squad. So thank you, Christina. So glad you're here. I'm so sorry. Clerk Jim, not Jerk Clem. Clerk Jim is here. Hey, man. So glad to have you. Guys, I am oh so excited about today. Let me give you a little bit of background here. So before this baby channel of YouTube was ever born, I made a friend, okay? I was doing a little bit on TikTok. I was definitely talking about Karen Reed a whole lot. I was very much into the case and, other cases with extreme irregularities. And I happened to also be modding for the fantastic nurse Kim. And, so I would kind of follow her around on YouTube and see what else she was doing, right? So I came across this super fun channel that I thought, man, this is really fun that Kim had been a guest on. It is called Calling All Beings, CAB for short. And one day I was, just having some chit chat time in the chat, and DJ brought up something that I said. I don't even remember what it was. And we just hit it off like that. We got along so stinking well. And he was extremely courteous to me. And he, through that conversation, began to encourage me and teach me and show me a little bit of the ins and outs of doing YouTube. And helped me get the courage to have this channel. So we can call DJ like the godfather of the Brit Happens channel, because without him, I don't know that I would have had the balls to do any of this. He put a lot of time into kind of pouring into me and helping me figure out the ins and outs of it. So without any further bogus from me, please show a lot of love in the chat for my friend DJ.
Hey, thank you so much. That was very kind of you, Britt.
Oh,
Very,
I
very
wouldn't
kind of
mind.
Yeah, it's very kind of you. Like I say all the time, you're extremely talented and you were meant to do this and you're going to be extremely successful. So what's up, everybody in the chat? It's an honor to be here. I believe this is the first Karen Reed content creator who has invited me on. So for that, it's a big honor. So thank you, Britt.
Stop it. Well, I for one am glad to have you. You know how like every now and again an adult child grows up, moves out of the house, and then they want to host Thanksgiving dinner. Like they're so excited to have like come to my see what I've done with all that you've taught me. That's feel right now, like that little bit of pride, like, oh, see, everything that you've shown me over all this time has. Oh, am I echoing?
Yeah, let me see if there's something in mine that's doing that.
It's.
How's it now? Are you guys hearing it now?
I love to sing about the moon and the June and the spring. I
Tell
love
me
to
if you're
sing.
still hearing that from Britt.
No, I think it's my fault.
Oh, okay.
How about now?
It sounds great to me. I heard the echo, and then now it's okay. Now they're saying it's me. All right. Okay. Now they're saying it's, you are not DJ.
She's saying that you're not echoing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I am not DJ.
I don't think
for
she's
those-
questioning your identity.
Yeah, because it
Funny.
is questionable at best.
Okay, we're gonna figure this out. How about now?
Oh, Ken Hathaway's here from Nottingham, England. Welcome, Ken Hathaway. My
Ken!
God, man. Sneaking in the
Glad to
chat.
have you. Okay, are we still echoing?
Oh, I think. All right. Let me see. Let me see if I can. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do something there. Say something, Britt.
I
Say
love
testing.
to sing about the moon and the June and the spring. I love to sing. There's something.
Yeah, it could be. It could be me set up, Britt. It could be me set up.
Me.
Maybe I
I'm
need to.
still trying to learn this microphone. Hang on.
Have you had this? Hey, what's up? Positive Pathways is here. Did you?
Hey.
Yeah. All right. You know what I can do? I'm gonna try something, Britt, and let me know if you hear this. Hang on a second. All right. Hang on.
In a world where Brit Happens has the technological literacy of a 95-year-old man. Is it still there? I don't hear it anymore. I was hearing it. Better? Oh, fantastic. Okay, I was so scared that it was me. Okay. Hallelujah. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much. Okay, fantastic. So sorry about that, guys. Now we can get down to business. So, Beatrice, so glad you're here. Thanks for coming to see DJ. So, can you still hear me? Oh. Sorry, guys. We've lost DJ. DJ, you are muted. Your mic is muted. Oh, okay. Okay. So this is on purpose, guys. I wish I had interlude music. I'll have the duckies do a little dance for you.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Should be good.
Sunny days.
Can
Yay!
you hear me? Yeah. Test.
We have you back.
Okay.
Yes.
So I turned the Roadcaster was doing that to you somehow. That's why you were getting the echo. Have you ever had that happen before?
No, I've never had that happen before. Now, there was a setting on my microphone my first couple episodes where that was happening, but it was like my solo streams. So
yeah, it was the Roadcaster. So I will I will address this again. Look, Bia, it looks like we're gonna have to call Roadcaster again. All right. So anyway, sorry about that. Please
Oh, hey,
continue with your show.
So, DJ, I want everybody, at least who is a Brit Happens regular. A lot of us, there's some overlap. There are people who watch this show who obviously watch yours. But for those who don't know you already, can you give a brief explanation as to who you are, where you came from, and what got you into the Karen Reed case?
Yeah, a real short version. I grew up in suburban New York, about 40 miles north of New York City. Grew up on a ranch. Um, and throughout, let me see how to show her. So yeah, like basically high school was kind of my coming out party, and then going to Dean College, which gave me a lot of kind of confidence for what the Air Force would have to offer that I thought, hey, there's Jen Root, that I thought I could take advantage of. And there's Christine F. What's up, Holmes?
Yeah, we've got
And
all kinds of people here tonight.
yeah, yeah, man, sees the dizzle. And so anyway, and then I joined the Air Force, spent about 21 years there, was a aviator for special operations for most of that 21 years. And then I've done work with Air Force, Space Force, worked over in Iraq, worked over in Afghanistan as a civilian, and I started creating.
Did you do?
How many? 12.
Wow.
12, yeah.
Whew. No
Yep.
wonder you sounded so used to flying when we were talking about, that trip to Massachusetts. When we were planning everything, you just
Yeah.
sounded like this was your second nature, like you do it every day, because you literally did at one
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, that was my job. And then I did about 4 tours out of uniform in civilian clothes at both those locations. Let's see. Then I started creating content in the Air Force. Maybe 15 years ago, I started podcasting about the UFC, did journalism for that, got some press credentials and all that neat stuff, made friends with a whole bunch of fighters. Yeah, what's up, Dean College? And then I around 2021 is when I met Nathan as I said I didn't want to cover the UFC anymore because they kind of pissed the Dana White, the way they were treating the fighters kind of pissed me off. So I decided that I wasn't going to cover them anymore. So
Okay.
I started covering. I said I want to cover UFOs. I saw, you and I both. A lot of people in the audience don't know. Both Britt and myself have both had UFO sightings as younger persons. Me, I was in my teens. I think Britt was in her early 20s when she saw hers. But anyway, so yeah, I ended up meeting Nathan, and he is the one who named Calling All Beings. He came up with this. We met Deb, and then eventually we got to Courtney after going through a series of fourth co-hosts and fifth co-hosts. We ended up with a great one named Courtney. And then we did about 3 years of that, and I decided that I wanted to do true crime to be in service of someone who I thought maybe I could have an effect on their situation. So that's
Right.
and like we did an investigation in Pennsylvania, which has never made it to air because I discovered the Karen Reed case from listening to a podcast that mentioned Turtle Boy and Karen Reed. And that just, it took over my life. The first episode I did was, I didn't even know how to use Canva. I just did a solo episode about Karen Reed. And then the next episode was like Sean McDonough and 6,000
Yeah.
people watching. So yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. And it took over all of our lives.
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, honestly, I had never done content creation before Karen Reed, but it's kind of like what you said with wanting to be able to at least help make a difference. Yes, everybody who creates content is helping spread awareness, but when it comes to cases like this, where somebody is unjustly being prosecuted, there are other things we can do. We can help fundraise, we can educate, we can collaborate with one another, because this case is way too much for one brain to handle all of
Right.
it. That's why Karen has 5 or 6 attorneys now. So, it's good that, there are people like you, people like all of us who are getting the content out there, and everybody's kind of got a different flavor, right? So, we're able to reach more audiences, and now there are people from Australia, from Europe, from all corners of the world who are rooting for Karen, who are donating to her fight with the Commonwealth. So, I definitely get what you mean with wanting to really help make a difference.
Yeah, and the dearth of people that are into this case is a force multiplier to the Karen Reed defense, because now they can actually have somebody like Olivia who's giving them data, who is pointing
Yes.
out incongruencies between what the prosecution said and did, or what the investigators said during the grand jury, but then said during Karen Reed's first trial, etc. So all those things have made it very difficult when you have Brandy Churchwell and you have Carrie
Fair.
True Crime, and
Mhm.
like we mentioned, Olivia, and there's many, many more. John Como. There's many, many more than that. But yeah,
Yeah, I love how quickly too they're able to respond. I mean, before I had even finished this last hearing, watching it on YouTube, because you and I both work for a living. So
yes,
we can't, watch the live streams of every hearing, every day of every trial. So when I was going back the other day to catch up on this complete buffoonery that will, and don't worry, y'all, we'll get to it, that we saw this week flying out of Hank Brennan's mouth. Um, Before I even finished there, I saw a little banner come up. Oh, someone tweeted something, and it was Olivia, Carrie, people who immediately were able to show, okay, here's what Hank said today. Here's what actually happened on June 10th, the day in question that now Bev may be attempting to use to get Alan Jackson thrown off this case. Suspend his pro
yep,
hoc vice. It's absolutely insane to me.
yeah. And Christina is asking me. She's asking what I thought of Bev's reaction, and if that is a sort of tangent of what you what you just uh, just postulated right there, which is, I believe what it is, Christina, is there's a maturity issue. A lot of people will talk about millennials and they'll make fun of millennials and go, "Oh, they're so entitled. They're not like us from Generation X, or baby boomers, etc."
Mhm.
So I believe that Bev is also Generation X like me, and she's an entitled, and I'm going to say she's very extremely immature and babyish. And
Mhm.
she's also either not self-aware, or she just doesn't care the appearance that she gives off. And you'll hear Melanie Little talk about this. So I
Yeah,
don't know if it was fear. I don't know if it was anger. And frankly, I don't care which one it was, because it really
it
doesn't
was
matter.
improper.
Yeah, it was extremely immature. And so if I had to use, like, let's say you're going to give me 3 words, Brittany, go give me 3 words to describe Bev. So I'd go with this. I'd go with immature, unprofessional. I
Mhm.
want you guys to sink that in. Unprofessional as a jurist and a judge. And the fourth one would be biased.
Yes.
And she doesn't seem very, very concerned about being biased about Mr. Jackson, or even a Massachusetts native former police officer in Dr. Russell, who has 7 years as a police officer before, taking the very small leap to going to medical school after she had already been at MIT. So, yeah, I think immature, unprofessional, and biased. I would say that to her face. I'd say that to her husband's face. I'd say that to anybody from the Massachusetts State Police face, any of the court schmucks or Fanning or whomever.
Jen is wanting to know, have we ever watched Bev's hands shake before? I sure haven't.
She's immature and she's unprofessional.
She definitely is one for knee-jerk reactions. That's why we see the sighs. I mean, that's become part of her signature. It's absolutely wild how she doesn't even seem to care about her own PR.
She doesn't.
Case. She's well aware of how this looks. She doesn't show the level-headedness that you would expect from any ethical judge.
Professional judge.
Right. And while it's not uncommon to see a little bit of a God complex occur on the bench, because you have to remember, these people every day are getting their butts kissed.
Your Honor.
By lawyers.
Your Honor.
Yes. You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of a king on a throne with peasants going up to them saying, "Your Excellency," or Your Highness. I mean, this is the only place in the modern world, or at least in modern first world, where we see people schmoozing like that.
Well, let me just take away bias for a second. Let's say that I just take away that she acts like a complete jackass to Alan Jackson and their team, and even David Yannetti, something that I heard on one of the channels today, where David Yannetti was trying to make a case, and it was on Turtle Boy's channel. But I want to ask you this: even if she wasn't biased and you saw the way she reacted, you would say she's unprofessional, right?
100%.
Even if she was even across the board, shaking and acting like a baby because she read something, is just unprofessional behavior for a judge.
It definitely is.
But we don't have a check and balance. All we have is the appellate system.
Right. And especially in Massachusetts gives so much leeway to judges. There's almost no accountability for them as long as they are, behaving within a certain, set of guidelines. That it's insane. Attorneys describe it as a wide berth for what is, up to their discretion. We had a question from Ken that I wanted to bring up, DJ. So Ken says, Britt and DJ, do you think Hanky went to meet Auntie Bev in her office? He did shoot right out of the court. So let me go ahead and say what I think, which is, if he did, and the defense was not present, then we have an even bigger problem than we thought that we had. Because anytime an attorney from one side has any kind of interaction, be it an email, a phone call, a text message, or going into chambers without an attorney from the other party being privy to it, unless someone's life is in danger, that is called an improper ex parte communication. And that is a very, very big deal. Kind of like what we saw from District Attorney Michael Morrissey regarding the Turtle Boy case. He was speaking with witnesses and stuff like that. Spoke with Turtle Boy's judge, one of the former judges on that case, about granting a what do you call it? A restraining order. The Massachusetts version of a restraining order. I forget what they call it in Massachusetts. But that was an extremely big deal. So if this happened, which I'm not going to say whether it did or not, because I don't know. I did see that he left. And obviously, we all saw that Bev left. But if he did go and speak with her in chambers without Jackson, Yannetti, or Alessi present, then that would be a serious problem. What do you think, DJ?
So I'm with you. I also don't know, but I also like what Ken put in there about making a motion to get the court CCTV, if that's a thing, if there's CCTV that goes through the hallways and into her chambers. Yeah, I would make a motion to release that CCTV footage for that day. Yeah, absolutely. But as far as an extension of that question about ex parte communications, I suspect, being the relationship between Bev's mom and Mike Morrissey's mom, that there probably has been ex parte communications between the two of them. If they were able to get those phones, I would expect that you would see that.
What do you think about the fact that Hank is the one who is going through Michael Morrissey's emails and text messages and stuff?
I think we actually talked about this on the phone. I'm going to go back to something that Boston Brandy said. I said to you from the minute that he was hired, I said, I don't trust the guy. I think he's a liar, and I don't think he's honest. And that was in reference to our friend whom we love and admire, conflict of interest, 100%, Larry Legend. And great stuff, by the way, by you. That 100% that he would be dishonest. In contrast to someone named Mark Betterow, who we absolutely love and respect, who wanted to think the absolute best about Hank Brennan. There he is. Yeah! Send up the back signal, baby.
I got this image on deck. It's a nugget that I keep in my back pocket to pull out at the opportune time.
He is amazing. He is amazing. But the reason I said that is because you have to look at how the sequence of events would have played out that Hank Brennan would have been hired. And this is how I've come to the conclusion with my New Yorker brain that he couldn't and wouldn't have been honest. And that is this. If you're Mike Morrissey, he may have had a short list. There may have been 3 or 4 attorneys. There may have been half a dozen attorneys that he was looking at. And when he interviewed Hank Brennan, he would have laid out the case for him. And Mike Morrissey is anything but stupid. Yeah. He may be disgusting. He may be bereft of morality. He may be bereft of any sense of propriety, fairness, justice. He's everything that we despise, but stupid is probably not one of those. And with that, he will have interviewed Hank, and he will have been assured with 100% certainty that he was going to prosecute this case. 100%. So there's no chance that when people said, oh, he might see the evidence and dismiss this case. Not a chance that he was going to dismiss this case. And I'll give you 2 reasons why. A is what I just told you, because he was hired under those auspices and because Morrissey believed 100% that he was going to prosecute this case as it was laid out to him. Oh, I didn't see the first trial. Bullshit. Secondly is you have to understand the competitive nature of these people. This would be like taking Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and putting them on a court one-on-one, and they're going to play but not keep score. That doesn't happen. They are keeping score of that one-on-one game. Even it happened in Larry Bird's local court in French Lick, Indiana. Yep. They're going to keep score, and they're going to tell people who won. Hank Brennan wants to beat the hell out of these guys. He wants to beat the hell out of this dream team that now includes Bob Alisi, that now is going to include Mark Betterow if he's admitted, and Alan Jackson, and David Yannetti and Eliza Little. But the thing is, what he has in his favor is he has Judge Bev on his side.
Yep.
And that's what you cannot, I don't care if you open your attorney's suit and there's a big S on there. when you have a dishonest judge, which they have,
Yeah.
you
then,
don't have, it doesn't matter how great a litigator you are. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to add to it that, you know, in this particular trial and the last one, Bev will only rule with the defense if she is legally backed into a corner and has no other choice. Are you pointing the wrong way?
Did you hear what she just said? And she's probably playing percentages. All right, I give him 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 10, whatever her stupid, and I think Richie has the mathematics on this. This needs to stop. I know, I saw that. Stop. Ken Hathaway.
Oh, funny. Hey, Larry's here.
Of course I've heard Larry? Of course I've heard a French lick. Come on, I'm a big Larry Bird fan. And I'm an 80s basketball fanatic. NBA fanatic, yeah.
Awesome. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of questions for DJ. And guys, I will do my best to go back through and get to all of them. But something that will really help me, because I wear readers until further notice. If I get too far away, the readers don't work. It's just, unless I literally have my face right in the screen to where you guys can see up my nose, I don't see incredibly clearly in the chat. So what will help me is if you bust a caps lock. That would be great. If you've got a question, it'll help out a lot. So
what Jilly D says. Oh, and look at Rasmussen. Patrick Ewing was my dude. Look at Rasmussen. You never know what's going to come out of her mouth. You just never know.
Christina has this way of pleasantly surprising you all the time.
She does.
Like, she's
so witty.
Yeah, and I just found out she's a Tool fan, which, like, that's mega points in my book.
You talking Craftsman or Snap-on?
Okay, no. It's a band.
A band.
Okay?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
This symbol
I know. I was just kidding.
Right here was signed by Danny Carey, the drummer for Tool. Like, I'm a very big Tool fan.
Yeah, I mean, Brit's like a professional musician, yo, and a music teacher.
I'm an everything fan. An everything fan. Yes, Dark Horse Christina, please pass the Peppa with the spot on point of the night.
And Jilly D also. Jilly D with her point as well, just above Christina.
Okay, what did she say? Has to step in. They are.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Yeah. Jilly, and there was something else that I starred in the chat that you said a second ago too, and I'm going to go ahead and get to both of those things that you said right now. Number one, the feds do not have a 98% conviction rate for no reason. Okay? Think of how long it took for Matthew Farwell, the one who's responsible for the unaliving of Sandra Birchmore. Okay, took them over 3 years to make an arrest. Now, when they made the arrest, they went ahead and gave the whole story. They had dug, and they took as long as they needed to get to the bottom of everything. They want to know how far back it goes, how deep the rabbit hole is, basically. So they were able to get enough evidence to convict based upon the start of their relationship. And they met 10 years prior to her death. So they were able to figure out who covered it up. They were able to figure out who did it. They were able to figure out why he did it. And so they are not going to really come forward and say anything, the feds, until they know it all. And they can tell you like they were there in the room. So that's basically what we're waiting for right now. And the longer they take, the more messy you know it probably is. You got anything on that, DJ?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge Thomas Teese put in Kareem for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in there, so we got to give it up to Kareem. And when he was Lou Alcindor, before he changed his name, which I think was after he joined the NBA, he was just unstoppable in the NBA for many years. A lot of people, I think, voted greatest college player ever, in addition to being a Hall of Famer in the NBA.
Wow.
So, yeah. So again, I've used on the show many times the case that Joe Pistone put together for the New Jersey division of the FBI, where his name in the op was called, hey, hello, Joe, was called Donnie Brasco. And so in this case here, they've been going on for 6 years. They were investigating the elements of, and you'll forgive me that that I won't remember the name of the crime family, but Sonny Black Napolitano was the boss that that Donnie Brasco was working under. And it was only when he became a made man and they asked Donnie Brasco to go and conduct a hit in Miami is when he was pulled out by his handlers at FBI headquarters. So the whole point of the story is that this thing, just picture that there's a spider and it just keeps inching out. And now we have Fanning and he's at the courthouse. And then we have Tully and he's talking to Kate Peter and Jennifer McCabe and Leah Genduso and Lindsay Gaetani. And then it goes a little further and let's see who they talk to. And let's see if Proctor talks to somebody. And you see the web keeps getting larger. Thank you, Christina's saying the Genovese crime family. Thank you. Like I said, you never know what Christina's going to come up with. Mob life is my jam. She's too funny. You're coming back on Calling All Beings shortly. I just can't, we can't live without you any longer. So the reason that I bring all that up is that they may be looking to see, because these people feel very emboldened. I had a Twitter exchange with Chris Albert. Did you know that, Britt? I told you that on the phone, right?
I think you briefly mentioned it. The past couple times we've talked on the phone, DJ, one of us had to go pretty abruptly.
Yeah.
I don't think you told me the substance of it. You did tell me what the picture, what the profile picture was, in case he starts talking to me. But
yeah, he basically was saying that, hey, they keep saying the feds are coming. I'm outside. I'm in my backyard having fun. So yeah, man, let them come. And so I didn't want to engage in any sort of really aggressive back and forth with him because I couldn't be 100% sure. But people did tell me that it was Chris Albert. And he was speaking in the
feelings. You might have been charged with something. He would have
probably
tried to find a way to sue you or something.
Yeah, I'm not in his jurisdiction, so he'd have it's possible. Yeah, he might have been able to sue me for slander or something like that, or libel. I can't remember which one is the legal definition of either. But in any case, they feel very emboldened and able to do and say what they want to do. So with that in mind, this works in the favor of the FBI because all of these people, save for Brian Albert, feel extremely comfortable to keep doing what they're doing because you have guys like Brian Albert that are really smart, they're really strategic, really tactical, and now that he's gotten away with murder, he can just kind of like hold it all in and not do anything and not bring his name up, not keep himself in the news. But you have idiots like Jennifer McCabe that think they're really smart that aren't. That person and you're like, oh, this person thinks like they're the smartest person ever, but they're not. That's Jen McCabe. And that's why she would be texting. Texting the district attorney and one of the arresting officers and why she would be coordinating with. If I were Jen McCabe, I wouldn't talk to any of these people because I got away with it. Right.
Right.
So when you dig a hole deep enough, you stop digging, right?
Yes.
She doesn't stop
would
digging
think.
though.
Yeah, one would think. She's still got the shovel out.
And Margaret Mary says Bev is 64. She's a boomer, for God's sakes.
Well, I mean, one way or another. Impropriety.
Well, she's entitled. She feels extremely entitled to act like an unprofessional baby.
1000%. And then, Jill, let's get to that other thing that you said. Jilly D. Honey, allow me to encourage you. Okay? She says, all I'm hearing is bad news for Karen. It's annoying. All right. Let me say this to you.
Sherry Dizzle.
Oh, Sherry's here.
Yeah. Hey, Sherry.
Hey, Sherry. Glad
Welcome,
you're here,
love.
So
Lo siento.
So Jilly D, be not afraid, okay? For Alessi is coming. He, I can guarantee you, and Jackson are going to so eloquently lay the facts on the table on Tuesday as to what Hank claimed with no affidavit, no motion to go with it, which that alone is kind of a problem. He misrepresented not just with no dates or times, but also misrepresented the source of the materials to which he was referring, and then allowed that misunderstanding to continue on for half an hour before backhandedly, the second Bev got back to that bench, Hank's backside should have been at that podium saying, Your Honor, before we do anything else, I need to correct something for the record. I need to let you know that what I said before about those emails being turned over to me via a TUI dump by the feds actually came from the defense. Okay? And we know that he, at the time, wasn't just misspeaking. He knew what he was saying. He knew he was claiming that came from the feds. Why? Because of the hyperbole and the crescendos and all the freaking theater that went along with it. All right. He started I just want to bring a little something to your attention. And then it gets enormous. Okay. So because of all that theater, we know that he absolutely meant to say that came from the feds and not from the defense and was never turned over by the defense. And then Bev comes back and then, oh, by the way, Your Honor, just a little bit of a chronology thing I wanted to go over with you before we go. And then on the side says, oh, I think I might have misspoke earlier about that being from the feds. It was from the defense. No, sir. That needed to be the first thing that came out of your mouth as soon as Bev came back. If you really gave a damn about how you represented material information to the court, if you really cared about your ethics, that should have been set straight the moment Bev returned. But anyway, come Tuesday, that all is going to be packaged with receipts by Alan Jackson, Bob Alessi, and David Yannetti in a nice, pretty little bow. And when it's unwrapped by Bev, it is going to come out of the package and tear Hank Brennan a brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bath, double wide bunghole. Trust me, this is going to blow up in his face. And if I'm correct, Bob Alessi is going to help, again, legally back Bev into a legal corner where she has no option other than to side with whatever sanctions the defense recommends. So I am not worried. You don't need to worry about Karen right now, at least from what you're hearing at the moment. What are you thinking, DJ?
Well, I just want to say to Richard Drew over there, you don't need to be not proud of being from Mass, just because of the judges. I mean, there's a correction that needs to happen. We've had similar things happen in New York with the police, and Mark talks all the time about a particular district attorney from Suffolk County, New York, that was put in prison. So, but yeah, please don't. There's nothing to not be proud of about Mass. It just so happens that there's a problem, and there's some very entitled jackasses. In terms of Karen Reed,
that happens everywhere.
We live and die with Karen. I feel like the way that this is setting up, I think I told you on the phone, I believe that Hank Brennan was not hired to win this case. I don't think they have the evidence to win this case. So I have no fear at all about Karen being convicted. None. Zero. Okay. I do have a fear that it will end in a hung jury again for two reasons. A, because all Hank Brennan has to do is say, I object. And most of the time, and maybe we can get stats on this, Bev is going to say sustained, ask it differently. Or she's going to call them to sidebar right in the middle of him litigating, whether that be Alan Jackson, David, or probably less so with Robert Alisi. But I fear that it's going to end in a hung jury again because Americans can't agree on anything. So to get 12 people to agree, I think is going to be extremely difficult. Now, if you listen to that juror says, well, they did agree on counts 1 and 3 that they were unanimous on. But did we see that? What did that result in? It resulted in Karen on trial again for all 3 counts.
And to your point, they didn't agree on how they were going to let the judge know that they were hung. That they wanted, some of the jurors wanted to give something of a progress report. Your Honor, we haven't decided on every single sub-count of every charge. We do have some verdicts, but we haven't come yet to a decision on all the charges. Can you give us some clarification as to whether we can give partial verdicts? Some of the jurors wanted to ask that, but the foreman and possibly other strong personalities among that jury, I'm not sure, said to them, nope, we're either going to let her know that we finished or we're going to tell her we failed. We're not going to give any further details. So it's to your point, people can't agree. And if they had they just asked, man, we could go all day on what could have gone differently, but I sure wish they had.
Well, they didn't demand that he write that into the note that they handed Judge Bev, which they could have done. So I really like that one juror that and Turtle Boy was spot on. He's very much against that juror who was the EMT, the former he's a nurse now, former police officer. And now I understand why he's so passionate about that one guy. Because even though this juror seemed very forthright, they seemed to me, man, this is not going to sound good. They didn't seem like very analytical. I'm going to say this nicely. They didn't sound like very analytical, intellectual people that were looking at all the evidence. And then if you go up above, Sherry D has a tweet that put, a message that put it very succinctly. And then there was a tweet after that from Stylin One about her case before the Mass Superior Court. Yeah, you got to go up above. Sherry has a longer message.
Okay.
From the bottom. Start from the bottom. Yeah.
Here we go. Americans walk into the courtroom and think,
wait, let me do it.
Must have done something wrong.
Let me do it like Ken's Nana, because he's going to like this. Americans walk into the courtroom and think, well, the defendant must have done something. Clearly, they don't understand reasonable doubt. And thirdly, jurors didn't realize that they can speak up in the courtroom. Sorry, there you go. There you go,
That was
Nano.
beautiful. You have such a knack for that. Guys, for those of you who haven't seen DJ's full repertoire of accents, it'll make you happy. Go watch his channel, Calling All Beings on YouTube, and come back and let me know what you think of his accents, because it'll make your day, honestly.
Thank you very much, man. I haven't broke out me Jamaican yet, but I'm gonna do it soon on my channel, man. I'm going to do that, man.
But no, Sherry, you're absolutely right. In fact, Ronnie admitted as much, that there were some jurors, and you know what? I think part of this may have been by design, because Lally just droned and droned and droned. I mean, we heard more about the weather than we heard about material facts of the case. So, I'm sure that they may have, started to want to pay attention to everything. And before they knew it, they were like, okay, we're not splitting hairs on all the little stuff. But you're right. Ronnie did say that, there were definitely witnesses who seemed suspicious, but Karen was the one in the chair with an attorney present. So, because she was the defendant, and because she happened to be driving, and because somebody happened to meet his end that night, there were some jurors who made up their mind simply based off of that. It was so sad.
Yeah, I don't know if it's letting me chat. Let me see. Yeah, for some reason, this comment failed to post to Brit Hub. I don't know why. I've tried to send 3 tweets. I am a subscriber to your channel, so I don't know why it won't let me post.
Yeah, I don't know why. It does that to me too every time I've ever been on. Like, if I want to engage in the chat, I pull up the actual YouTube video on my phone and then just turn the volume down. I think it's a StreamYard thing.
No, I think because I do it on Cab all the time. We've got to change one of your settings in the background.
Oh,
and
okay.
it'll solve the problem. No, but he wants me to do Winston Churchill. So if you want to close, you block DJ.
Oh my God.
Thank you. Please pass the pepper.
Maybe I did. I've blocked so many people by accident. I mean, it really wouldn't shock me.
You've blocked me. I can't believe it. Christ almighty. But
Jim,
I can
what a
do
good point. Go ahead, DJ. I'm sorry.
I can do a Winston Churchill later. Ken wants me to do Winston. So if you want to close the show with Winston, I will bring up and I will try to read it in Winston's voice, which I love. And I just love his 1940 speech. So yeah.
Me as well. Winston Churchill's one of my heroes. In fact, maybe we could read some Mark Bettero tweets from this week in his voice, because I can't think of anybody better than you than to do that. So Clerk Jim, game theory. When you have an advantage, you try to maximize opportunities to press it. Commonwealth benefits from a longer trial for many reasons. Absolutely. It's frowned upon because of the resources that go into that for the most part. But yeah, I think the jury was basically waterboarded with information, a lot of which wasn't even relevant. I mean, what do you say, DJ, about that?
About this right here. Okay, maximize the rent price. You want to benefits trial go along for many reasons. Well, I think it really worked to Lally's favor because this is done in politics as well, and they used it quite effectively. This is essentially what you're seeing here is asymmetric warfare with the Commonwealth, the judge, the state troopers, and all these, all the ancillary scumbag McAlbert wannabe figures. But yes, the longer that the trial goes, it helps them, because being that they're not able to keep their notes at night, being that they're not able to reference their notes, being that they had their notes when they were deliberating, but they were not able to get a transcript of the trial, which is like, are we really in like 1640? Like, how could you not have a transcript, right? Oh, we can't afford it here, mate. We can't afford printing all the transcripts. God's sakes. So to me, that is like a huge problem. The longer the trial goes on, they forget what happened earlier on in the trial. They forget how much of a liar some of these people seem to be. And like we thought, and here, all of us sitting here that are in no readbacks, as BS says in the chat here, as we sit here, all of us universally said, oh my God, Lucky Lochran, he's like the best witness. He's so believable. He's so likable. Then when you heard that the juror that was on with Turtle Boy, they did not think that. Ronnie.
Yeah.
They did not think he was credible. Look, he hit the basketball hoop and didn't tell anybody. I'm like, are you kidding me? You think he's not going to see a body laying beside that flagpole when you get that close to the house? It's, distractors.
Let me show you something. It's going to take me just a second because I'm on a laptop, but I want you guys all to see what kind of lights a snowplow is equipped with. Because this is important, okay? I think daylight would be less light than what a snowplow has. Here we go. All right, let me do a screen share here. Sorry, guys, I have a laptop and it's...
And what you're saying there when you guys say, oh, he was the most believable witness, but here's the important part. To us and not to them, and they're the only ones that matter.
Right. Exactly. What we say, and here's the thing, we have way more context for Lucky than the jury did too.
Yeah, but
they just saw some blue collar guy.
Yeah, but the point is, Britt, is that they weren't concerned. What should have been is, if you were the state police, why didn't you want to interview this guy? Why was it that we had to go and get this witness?
After a year and a half.
Turtle Boy's the one that found the guy.
Yep.
So why did that happen? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, don't you think that's curious? That there was a plow truck driver that could have drove by there and ID'd the fact that there was a dark mass contrasted against white snow laying. And when you see how, and I know you people in Massachusetts have driven by, and you see how close to the road that body would have been near the flagpole in that small front yard that looks like a palatial freaking estate on Turtle Boy's background, they would have seen it, but they didn't. So why, jurors? Don't you think that they would have wanted to interview this guy? They did not want to talk to him. And they didn't, by the way.
Dickie says, oh, I'm sorry, DJ. I'll be quick reading this because it's covering your pretty face. They used the MSP playbook in Lucky. Only witness they recorded trapped him into conflicting statements on purpose because he didn't fit the narrative, painted him as an unreliable witness, and it worked.
Yeah, a lot of us can get got when you're in an interview room with the police and you're being interviewed. Of course, Matthew Farwell he doesn't go to the interview room. He does it leaning against his car in a school parking lot where he might have molested other kids. That notwithstanding, it's very easy when you have a guy who maybe is not equipped to deal with something like that, probably didn't have an attorney in the room and all those sorts of things. So Lucky was definitely at a disadvantage. And the whole thing with the basketball hoop, if they took that as his credibility, but I'm just going to say this jury was not very analytical, not the most intelligent folks, or they were extremely biased. And again, we talked about half America believes one thing, Half of America believes another thing. So what makes you think in a courtroom, unless you got something on video, people
Right.
don't believe anything?
Exactly. Exactly. They won't agree. Great point, Dickie. He said he was watching my show with Jen Root and listening to the MSP interview with the EMT witness. So she's the one DJ who came to render aid to Just en Route
Yeah.
in his final moments.
Yes.
And we in that episode listened to her police interview, and they in a police interview, you're supposed to just be taking information from that person. You want to know what they saw, where they were, what they were doing there, possibly any information that could be relevant. But in that interview, we saw a lot of guiding, a lot of rushing, a lot of, I would argue, manipulation to, try to get the witness to at least say things in a certain way to kind of help fit into whatever narrative they were trying to create.
But you see, you don't do that when you don't want the truth. So you make sure that you don't do that. So you have to do it wrong in order to get the outcome that you desire. And that's what those guys are so good at. They're perfectly capable. You don't get to be at the detective level in the state troopers and go work at the DA's office unless you're extremely competent. So if you want the truth not to come out, then you need to be as adept at hiding the truth as finding the truth.
Yes. Yes. So guys, look at this snowplow light. So snowplow lights are, let me see here. Many of them now are LEDs.
Those
so
are.
They're
Those
not
are
measured
LEDs.
in like candlelight or anything.
Yep.
But these things are equipped. Oh, whoops. I accidentally closed it. The first thing that you learn as a snowplow driver is to not hit things because you're going to damage someone's personal property. You could hurt somebody. You could damage your own equipment. It can cause some serious issues. It could maybe even cause damage to the road if you hit something. So that's one of the first things they teach you is to scan the general area around where you're driving. A lot of people at night, they're just looking straight ahead of them, which is why people hit deer, sadly, so often. They're kind of just looking at that little bit of road that's right ahead of them. Lucky, and any snowplow driver, and he mentioned this in his testimony, one of the biggest parts of your job is checking your peripheral area so as to not hit people, property, or in his words, or God forbid, any animals.
Yeah, and I would add to what Britt says. I used to have a friend in the neighboring state of Connecticut, and in his town, and forgive me that I don't remember the town, they had volunteer plow drivers because the town did not have enough plows to do all that they wanted to do. And obviously Connecticut, like Massachusetts, gets some major snows. And I remember him talking about all the lighting he had to put on his truck in order to get qualified to go on the roads of Connecticut and help the town plow. So what Franken-Truck or any of these trucks, what you're looking at is 180-degree lighting measured from the front of the truck where the center emblem would be on the front hood of the truck. You have essentially 180 degrees of lighting from there.
Yep.
Okay. And as Britt said, that is so that you have an extreme amount of peripheral vision. Now, does that mean that you're not going to occasionally hit a basketball hoop when some idiot leaves it out in the street, even though the rules say to bring trash cans, cars, and everything in from the street when you're plowing? Now, do we wish he would have hit Chris Albert's stupid Ford Edge with that plow? Yes, we do. but he didn't. We would like if he would have destroyed Chris Albert's Ford Edge. But that is the most important part of the story, is that there was nobody. Then the Ford Edge, and the next time that Lucky came back, all of a sudden there's all this EMT, fire, and police there. So that's the part that the jury needed to understand. And again, I'm sorry, for one thing I want to say, for Alan Jackson, reasonable doubt. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we have this plow driver who went by there. He said, I didn't see anything. And then I didn't see anything again. And then I saw a Ford Edge. And then the next thing I know, the police are there, because when I get past, there's a body laying there. Reasonable doubt. Next point. And then they can go on to the next thing. Reasonable doubt. That's reasonable doubt. That's reasonable doubt. That's reasonable doubt.
Mantra. Make a point and then go back to restating reasonable doubt.
Yes.
That needs to be the mantra.
Yes. They did not take a photo. You have the lead detectives for the Massachusetts State Police working in the Norfolk County DA's office. This lieutenant level, the best. They're saying these are our best detectives that we have. And they go to the scene to pick up Karen's car, and they do not have a photographer come out and do 360-degree photographs of the vehicle. They wait to take the photographs until they bring the vehicle back to the police organization who had recused themselves from the case due to a conflict of interest, and then they take a photograph. Reasonable doubt. Why did they not do that? If you have any doubt that someone might have touched the vehicle. So Nicholas Barros right here said that he did not see a smashed taillight. He saw a taillight that was cracked with a piece falling down inside. And then the photos from Canton Sallyport show a completely smashed taillight housing. That's reasonable doubt. That's reasonable doubt.
Alan Jackson should have said, "May I approach, Your Honor? May I approach the witness?" Hand a piece of paper over. Officer Barros, did the taillight that you picked up that day look like this?
Exactly.
And shown the picture of Karen's obliterated taillight in the Sallyport. Did it look like this? Was it in this exact condition? Or was it different?
Exactly right. Oh, and here they said that this happened on key cycle number, I don't remember, was it 1162 or 1164, whatever, one of those two. But here we can show that this was key cycle, this was Karen at this time, 1162, and then you have them starting the car, backing it up, putting it up on the tow vehicle, then starting it up again, backing it off, putting in the Sallyport. So clearly it wasn't 1164.
Right.
So what is that? Reasonable doubt.
Excuse me just a second. DJ, I think one of my dogs.
Go ahead. Yeah. I'll talk to the people.
I'm just going to get up and check real quick. I'll be right back. And
okay.
Jerry, I want to acknowledge you really quickly. Thank you so much for your 5. And you're absolutely right. The jury is not the detectives. Okay?
Wait, I'll read his thing with a Canadian accent.
Okay.
The jury is not to figure who done it, eh? And the foreman's not the boss, eh? He's just another juror. So I'm sorry, you probably don't talk like that at all. But this is what we do on Calling All Beings. We do accents. So you see, if Full Metal Hash Values has got it right there. So these are the types of things that we can point out. You know, we can go to the hash values on the phones. We have a 227 Google search. We have an FBI trained and accredited forensic cell phone analyst. They say it didn't happen. We are positive it does. We can see that there are hash values that show that this is not a complete and full extraction of the phone, and that it has been monkeyed with. So what does that tell you, jury? This is reasonable doubt right here. because we didn't get a full extraction of Jennifer McCabe's phone, and we didn't get a full extraction of John O'Keefe's phone. So reasonable doubt. Hash values are missing, which says that this particular record has been altered. And even Ian Whiffen, the idiot, I'm sorry, I know he's from Canada, that's immaterial. Even Ian Whiffen acknowledged that the hash values were not present for those extractions.
1,000%. Crisis averted, by the way.
All right. Okay, we're good.
That is the sound of my husband doing the dishes and not my dogs saying, hey, you accidentally left me outside and I can't get in. That's what I thought was happening. But
we can't hear him anyway. We're not hearing any of the background noise, so it's good.
Oh, it just sounded like this loud thud, and I'm like, are they testing bombs? Is one of my dogs like knocking on the door? What's happening? So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for reading that, DJ, while I had to step away. Joe, 100%. They now I know that the defense was hoping that this might have had a little bit of a more of an effect on the jury when they were reading through the text messages, the group texts specifically between Brian Albert, Matt McCabe, Jennifer, that whole circle. And one of the homes in the neighborhood was referred to as, I forget exactly what, but
the Asian house.
Thank you. And they were hoping that at least one or two members of the jury might have looked at that and been like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like the way that they are making that reference and approaching that.
and Charlie Lynn, yeah, that's a good one. Charlie Lynn Charlie Lynn and Miss Jessica Nbeezy make a good one right above that. Yeah, that basically
we'll probably keep out. Yes.
Yeah, and Jessica's
100%.
got the exact amount, but yeah.
100%. Yes, it was north of 32,000 texts that, I want to make sure I'm not going on too much of an anger rant about Sandra Birchmore, what happened to her, and the Commonwealth's part and all that. But Nicholas Guarino said that he reviewed all those messages and that all it showed, remember, was a consensual relationship between the two of them. So he looked enough to see exactly what was going on. And he chose only to share that there was a consensual sexual relationship between the two of them. And probably only even conceded to that because they knew that there was security camera footage of Matthew Farwell leaving Sandra Birchmore's apartment. They probably wouldn't have even admitted that there was any relationship had that security footage not existed.
Yeah.
And Hank has no business saying that this has nothing to do with Karen Reed's case. It's almost all the same investigators that we're talking about here. We're talking about Fanning. We're talking about Dunn. I mean, it's wild to me that Hank would even make the argument that there aren't some common denominators here.
Yeah, and it's interesting that what Melanie Little led on about Vinnie Politan. There's been a lot of sort of consternation between the law tubers that cover Karen Reed and Vinnie Politan, but on his own channel, he said that I don't see something. Now I'm paraphrasing here, so please don't quote me. I don't see where Hank Brennan is really getting after the truth. He should want to bring the ARCA guys in and do what the actual charge of a prosecutor is, which is to excise the truth from a set of events or facts. And that's not what he's doing. He is trying to play defense for, a lot of people will say he's playing defense. I've had lawyers correct me on this. He's not playing defense for the McAlberts. He's basically defending the Norfolk DA's office, as I see it, and he's going after a second hung jury.
That part, what you just said.
Yep.
I think Hank's got two jobs here. I think he is supposed to be prosecuting this case in a way that also defends Morrissey and the Norfolk DA's office.
It's what he was hired to do. And remember, I said I didn't believe the $75,000 for a second in the beginning of the trial. I said, I don't believe it, don't believe it, don't believe it. And even Melanie, who knows a gazillion times more about the law than I do, said, I can't believe this guy's working for that much money. And I'm screaming at my YouTube, he's not working for $75,000. He's not. Yep. And then we just saw that documentation come out that he's already been paid like in excess of $220,000.
Yeah. Ken, I see your question here, buddy. Britt and DJ, what did you both think about the documentary when Alan Jackson said he did not know Fanning was looking after the jury until closing statements? I believe you're referring to the Ted Daniel interview. Am I correct in assuming that, DJ?
I think that's what he's referring to. Yes.
Yes.
I believe that's what he's referring to.
There is already security at the Norfolk Superior Courthouse.
They're called bailiffs.
Yes.
Court officers. Yeah.
Judge Canone already placed an order for there to be a buffer zone. Okay. Why would you have a state trooper who has a whole other job, okay, and much less a state trooper who is involved in the investigation of this particular case that is on trial right now, when there's already been so many conflicts? Why would you have him? And don't even tell me that it's about security. Because if it were about security, you would have sequestered the jury.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite obvious what has happened here. Yeah. And he was there. He could pick up those notes at the end of trial each day, because as somebody pointed out for us, and by the way, what somebody said earlier, they said his contract through June was through June, and believe it or not, we're not yet at June, was $75,000. So it's not an extension. They paid him more than they wanted to do a PR move and tell the taxpayers it was only going to be $75,000 through June, which would have covered the trial, and it wasn't. So, which we knew it wasn't, because we knew everything they say is a lie. But yes, somebody told us that they were able to pick up those notes at the end of the day that were sitting on the jurors' chairs, and they would go into a safe. And with that, I felt very confident that he had looked at it. He knew who each juror was. He could give those names to Brian Albert, and probably did, and they could know which jurors were free Karen Reed or were anti Karen Reed. Let's just talk truth here. And all their notes
were being handed over to them. I think that's how Bev knew which three jurors to yank from deliberations.
Yep. They made an allegation with it with no sort of pro forma evidence that she was in a bar and talking about the trial, and that allowed them to get rid of the one who was clearly not happy with bald-headed Mike Proctor's disgusting self.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And so the jury intimidation factor is the other aspect. You have to realize that even if the SJC would have ruled in favor of the motion to poll the jury, as Marty Weinberg so eloquently litigated, they still could just tell Brian Albert and his crew that we need you to go. We need you to go to Stop and Shop. We need to park your car right across from where this person is and just wait till they come wheeling their little shopping cart out and scare the hell out of them. And all you need is to intimidate one juror, just one, and there would probably be half a dozen of them that would be intimidated by Brian Albert.
I mean, Ronnie said he was intimidated just from
Yes.
Brian being in the courtroom during closing arguments. And I mean, we all saw the look he had on his face.
Yeah, can you imagine Ronnie coming out of Best Buy and seeing like Brian Albert leaning on and that's not intimidation. He can lean on a car and stare at you as you're getting in your car.
Yep.
But people are going to be like, oh man, I don't want, if this guy knows my every move, what if he was sitting outside your kid's school? What if he showed up at a sports game? You know, there's anything that he could do.
Unbelievable. Thomas, I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate your Monty Python reference. That is all. I love Monty Python. Let's see. I started some other questions. Ken said that foreman was a plant. Okay. We don't know that, but we have questions is what I'm going to say about that. We definitely have questions. I'm not going to repeat the name of the foreman, but this individual, and DJ, I think you know this, but in case you don't, this individual was former law enforcement, the foreman.
Yeah,
okay?
Did you hear me say that earlier on the show?
But did you? Oh, okay. So
yeah,
I think so, but I don't think he specifically said it was the foreman. And
I did.
The reason this guy is no longer law enforcement is that he, as a pedestrian, was struck by a vehicle.
Struck by a vehicle. Yes.
There is not a snowball's chance in hell that the defense, if they knew that, would have said, okay, yeah, he's good. He can be on the jury. We don't object to him being in there. And a lot of time goes into jury selection. And it's not like a veto process, but you can object to certain individuals being on the jury, and you state why, and this is a pretty solid reason not to have that person on the jury.
Yeah, that's why I said the reason I think Turtle Boy has so much consternation with that juror, and I said, you know, he's a nurse, he's former law enforcement, and that he feels like he bullied the jury a little bit, and he exercised undue control on the jury, the rest of the jurors, and the fact that they did not somehow write in there that they acquitted on counts 1 and 2, and were hung on count 1 and 3 and hung on count 2, I'll never know.
Yeah, I
don't know.
If you were to just take any single one of these things in another case with another judge, it would have been enough for there to be a toss of the charges.
A mistrial. Yep.
For a mistrial with prejudice.
Prejudice. That's right. Yeah.
A mistrial with prejudice, guys, means you can't charge this person again. A mistrial without prejudice is what we had in this case, which means they're able to move forward with another trial. Yes, Thomas. And more than just in Norfolk County, the legal system is in need of an overhaul everywhere. I mean, what we see right now is absolute bananas. But the system somehow also, and this is coming from not an attorney, but just somebody who watches cases come and go. And it seems to me that justice is not really the end game anymore. I mean, look at the SJC ruling that we got in Karen Reed's case. They cared more about a technicality in the procedural happenings than they cared about wanting to get to the bottom of a unique issue, a very unique issue that could, if it were true, which it probably is, because no juror has come forward to say that the other jurors were lying about them acquitting on count 1 and 3. But no juror came forward, which means it's probably true, which means that if it is true, then we have the state of Massachusetts or the Commonwealth of Massachusetts violating somebody's double jeopardy rights.
That's right.
That's a problem.
It
That's
is.
a problem. And this double jeopardy violation, guys, was brought to you by the letter S. We're going to pretend like we're in Sesame Street. Because the foreman, instead of saying that they were having an issue coming to a unanimous agreement on a charge, he said charges. And that's as far as the SJC decided to look. They didn't really include in their finding how the judge gave the juror instructions or any of the full context of the situation there. They looked at the note and that was it. So this is all brought to you by the letter S. Oh, did we kick somebody out? Guys, please thank my mod squad. I don't know what he did, but they
That's the way to
are
do it,
awesome.
man.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Whoever it was, they went into bouncer mode. So thanks for bouncing. So you mentioned our last lengthy phone call, DJ. Remind me what exactly we were talking about.
I think I covered most of it. I covered the
Okay.
hiring process, of how I felt like the auspices under which Hank was hired. I covered that I never believed the payment. I never believed he was going to be an honest broker because of the hello, Amber. Because of the auspices on hello, Dennis Sweeney, the legend.
Hey, Dennis.
What's
Good
up,
to
bro?
have you.
So I think that was the crux of it. The payment, all those things. I just felt like I felt pretty strong about.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that payment, that invoice that we don't even know is paid. It could just be, it could be a bill that's unpaid, which, my gut tells me it's a bill that hasn't been paid yet. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that the trolls are right and that this was all some kind of a lie and Arca was retained by the defense. That bill would have been for a whole lot more than
that bill. Okay.
$24,000.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah. No, somebody was just messaging me. I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
Or
Gotcha.
calling.
Yeah,
I don't know
that
what they
bill
were
would
doing.
have been for far more than $23,000 or $24,000.
Yeah, I mean, if that was just like travel expense money, I think our Turtle Boy said that they were paid somewhere on the order of $250,000 or something. I don't remember to run those tests. I don't remember what it was, but if they contract to the government to do accident investigation for the United States Army and all that, they're probably paid quite well for their work. So yeah,
Extremely. And remember this, DJ. In their motion to have the Commonwealth reimburse the defense for the one-day trip that Erickson took to get Canton PD footage, and then there ended up not being any Canton PD footage.
Yep.
For his time, which was a total of about 3 days with travel, his hotel, his food, his snacks, if he forgot to pack a toothbrush, a pair of boxers, that's all paid for by Karen Reed's defense team. That was north of $12,000.
Right. That's right.
And that was for one guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And these people don't fly coach. These people don't fly, what's that kind of budget airline called? Allegiant.
Yeah.
These people don't fly Allegiant. Okay.
JetBlue. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when Karen was asked in the Vanity Fair article about taking Alan Jackson to nice dinners. And she was like, what
He don't eat a
McDonald's. Alan
McDonald's.
Jackson McDonald's? Yeah. So these witnesses, and rightfully so, are very well accommodated. And they're used to that. So if the bill amount is for $24,000, it sounds more to me like they are just being funded for their travel and accommodations and food. And this is for 2 guys, possibly 3. I know there was a third ARCA guy. I don't know if he wasn't called this time, but there are 3 ARCA members who are on the witness list.
They're PhDs, so they're going to get, even based on that.
Exactly. It's about, there are like stickers that you might see at a tattoo shop that says, you're not paying me for the time that it takes for me to give you a tattoo. You're paying for the years of education, experience, and expertise that I have accumulated over the course of my life. That is what you're paying for. You're paying for me to do a good job. You're not paying for the hour it's going to take for me to do this tattoo, or 5 hours or whatever. I've never gotten a tattoo done, but I've seen that posted places like that where, so yeah. Even though, say, Dr. Wolf and Dr. Rentschler are only going to be spending approximately a week, Mary Malarkey's here.
Mary Malarkey, hi, Brit and DJ. Can't wait to watch from the beginning. Love DJ's content and style. I can't believe she actually means that.
She does. Mary is as authentic as they come.
I'm just kidding.
She means what she says and says what she means.
Glad
to have you here, love. But anyway, so you're paying not just for like the week that the ARCA guys are spending here, you're also paying a little bit of a higher amount because of the caliber of witnesses that they are.
Absolutely.
But
they're top.
But that amount tells me that it's just for accommodations. It's not for their actual work.
PhD double G's, man. They're going to cost you.
Ain't that the truth? Oh, man. So DJ, I'm gonna wrap it up here.
Okay.
I've still got to cook dinner. I literally just walked in the door from a funeral. I had a death in the family, so we still haven't eaten in the Brit Happens household. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that here in just a minute. But DJ, please tell us where, how we can find all of your socials, your channel. Can you give us all the usernames?
So there's me Twitter right there, mate. At Cole_underscore beings, mate. And then the show is at Calling Beings. And this week we got, let me see. We have Jen, Christy Citron, and Jen coming up will be the next show on the 26th, Wednesday.
Oh, awesome. Jen
Altman and Christy Citron. So we're going to find out what it's like to be on the other side, Annie Karen Reed, maybe what she discovered, maybe spill some tea, and then on this side. And then we're going to have Jimmy on Friday night. I believe Jimmy from Auntie Deb is going to be on. So yeah. Do I
Clones
have
Mom,
a YouTube?
yes, DJ has the YouTube. It is called Calling All Beings. Very
Yeah.
easy to find if you just type Calling All Beings in the search bar. Oh, and wait a second. I almost forgot. This is going to make y'all happy if you haven't seen it yet. I want to make sure you guys see what Mark Betterow has tweeted this week.
Oh,
have you guys ever lost like a loved one, and in the days afterwards they start leaving you little winks? It seems like maybe their favorite species of bird, all of a sudden you start noticing it's sitting on your front porch every single day, or you look out the window and this very uniquely colored butterfly that's your loved one's favorite color is floating by fluttering by. I'm still convinced that whoever invented the word butterfly, or whoever named the butterfly, meant to say flutter by but had dyslexia. That's my theory.
Nice.
Or their favorite song keeps coming on the radio. Yeah, you get it's kind of like what Beatrice said. It's like little signs, almost as though they're sending you little messages saying, hey, I'm still here. I'm only gone physically. It's gonna be okay. I'm still around. So that is how I felt when I started seeing attorney Mark Betterow's tweets this week. Because remember, we can't have him on the internet giving all the commentary right now.
He's so missed.
He is extremely missed, and no one can replace him. We love Nan. Last week, or no, just a couple days ago, we got to hear from a Massachusetts attorney, Joe Simons, and he was excellent, and we loved picking his brain. But we're gonna miss Mark, and so
man.
Yeah. So seeing Mark's little tweets this week made me feel again like you're getting these little universe winks. Made me feel like this.
That's good, man.
I love that picture. By the way,
good.
That was made, I think. He sent it to me, but I don't know if he made it. But I'm going to go ahead and cite Thomas Autonomous Anonymous. Say that 10 times fast. Who, by the way, was the first person ever to send a super chat on this channel. But anyway, so DJ, go ahead and spin the wheel of fortune for your accent that you're going to use.
Oh, for what? For what I'm going to read?
Yep.
Oh, what do you want me to?
Betterow tweet.
Oh, for the Betterow tweet. Oh man,
it's free.
I could try the Churchill, but let me see. Go ahead and bring it up, and let me see what happens.
Here, let me kind of make us smaller.
Yep.
There we go.
Nope,
I can make us even smaller than that, and then maybe I can open.
Oh, there we go. I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Yep. Okay, I might be able to do Churchill for this one. Never assume silence translates to inactivity or distraction. There you go. That's my best.
It was good. It was good. I liked it. I'm a fan. So yeah, that was the first one that we got this week from Attorney Betterow, which I thought was great. I left a little reply too. I can't help myself.
That is awesome.
And
man.
then on the day of the hearing in question. Oh, crud. What have I done? We get this gem.
Let's see that one. Okay. This one. Ere look now, all ye present and witness the sense being made.
Oh, no. That was my reply.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Betterow's
right, I'll go back to Churchill.
read the whole book before analyzing, watch the entire movie before forming an opinion. No half measures, full measures. Don't draw conclusions on partial presentations. That's about the best Churchill I think I could do for today. There we go.
I thought you were stellar, DJ.
Okay, thank you.
Bravo
Thank you, Lo.
to the maestro of accents. I'm proud. I'm proud to know you.
It's the one skill that another one of the many skills I have that I don't get paid for. So, yeah.
Hey, I think it helps bring in support for your channel. Speaking of, please pass the pepper. Thank you so much, darling. Thanks for a great stream. Positive blessings. Thank you. Please pass the pepper. It is oh so very much appreciated. Channels have bills, man, and this is the little bitty baby channel. So we appreciate any support, growth serum to help the channel grow. Oh, and Sherry D, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Sherry's a huge supporter of everybody in the Free Karen Read movement within reason. And so Sherry, we appreciate you. She says, hang on, I accidentally double tapped. Brit Rocks, thanks for the great show with DJ. Mods rock. Yes, indeed, they do. Please thank the mods, guys. Coming up on ways that you can support the channel. There's means and methods scrolling below if you'd like to support the channel. And I am working on memberships. So please, please, please email me at BritHappensChannel@gmail.com with some ideas for emojis or special members only content that you, as a potential future member, would like to see. I would also very much appreciate that. DJ, do you have any closing thoughts?
I do, because Joe Biffle is asking me to do an Al Pacino. So I'm going to do a line from Heat whereby Al Pacino is having coffee with the Robert De Niro character in the diner. And then when they leave the diner, the helicopter above loses track of Al Pacino. And so when they say, hey, Bob, they tell him on the radio, hey, we lost him. He goes, I was having coffee with Macaulay a half an hour ago. So that was, that's like,
oh my word.
I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that was, or there's another part in there. This one's going to have a curse word in it, but it's when they're asking they're talking about the Val Kilmer character, and his wife, who's played by, I think it was Ashley Judd, was having an affair with another guy. So they flew to Arizona to interview that guy. And he asked him if you're having sex with Chris Shaharless's wife. And he says, well, I don't even know her. He goes, I hear she's got a great ass. Like, so, anyway, all right. And you had your head all up in it. Anyway, all right, that's all I'm going to do for Al Pacino. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you.
My goodness. DJ, nothing cheers a girl up like having a stream with you or a conversation with you. I gotta say, like, you can turn as what the Commonwealth calls Karen a shrinking violet. You can completely turn it around for someone like that. That's for sure. Guys, please show DJ plenty of love in the chat. Do you want to hang out while I make announcements for the channel?
I got to beat feet. I have to do my homework for Space 100 tonight. But I got one love for everybody here. All right?
All right. Best luck. Have a coffee.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for coming, DJ.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for being here. And guys, remember, he is the Brit Happens channel godfather. There would be no channel here if it weren't for him encouraging me and kind of helping me figure out the ropes just a little bit. He put a lot of time into helping me build the confidence to do this. So we all have DJ to thank for the Britt Happens channel. So.
Thank you so much, Britt. You're a great creator. I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you by
Take
phone.
care. Have a great night, DJ.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, oops, I clicked it a little quick. Oh well, he's leaving anyway. Okay, so guys, upcoming with the Britt Happens channel. Yeah, he truly is. Please pass the pepper. Dynamite dude. So as I was about to go ahead and announce, there is not going to be a stream next Sunday on March the 2nd. Why? Because my best friend is getting married. And I, as the maid of dishonor, am throwing her a little shindig. We're going to do the bachelorette party next weekend. So I will be busy. I will definitely take pictures and stuff and, with their permission, share for the next time. But as of right now, no stream is planned for March the 2nd. However, the week after, and I mean, I promise you guys, if we can get our hands on the motion to dismiss, I don't care where I am. I don't care what I'm doing. If I'm driving, I will pull my ass over and pull it up and I will stream the motion to dismiss and we will read it together because I am convinced today that it's going to be a masterpiece. It is going to be one of the most elegant pieces of legal literature that we will see in our lifetimes. Oh, yeah, Dickie. I mean, I don't know about that. I got us a house and it's got like a hot tub and, there's definitely going to be some like hanging around the house. They want to go out too. But it's not going to be what comedy movies are made of, so to speak. Or at least I hope not. We'll see. But anywho, we're definitely going to go over, like, I don't know when it's going to be, but we're going to go over the motion to dismiss together. That is a pinky promise. And then also coming up the week after, I don't know if you guys know Coral. Coral and Dexter is her name on TikTok and on YouTube. She is a Massachusetts resident. She has been following the Karen Reed case for a long time, and she and I have been friends since before the first trial, and we have connected over this case, just as I've connected with pretty much all of you. Oh, yeah, Nikki, thank you for the reminder. I will put my email up. I'll do that as I'm closing out. But Coral is so funny. She's so witty. She is a great brain to have in this case. She's done a lot of other coverage as well. She's a big true crime person. So she's like an encyclopedia with some of this stuff. So she is going to come on the Britt Happens channel for Sunday, March the 9th. So mark that shit on your calendars and have a coffee ready. And I hope you are prepared to laugh your butts off because she is hilarious. Y'all are going to love her. Let me turn on some background music for while I'm wrapping this up. There we go. And make sure that also you are keeping an eye on the channel for the Adios Proctor party that I will be throwing. That is another thing that, because it hasn't happened yet, we don't know when the Proctor party is going to be. But as soon as it becomes officially official that Trooper Proctor is a Mr. Proctor, I am going to be throwing a live stream, probably delete it instantly afterwards. So long Proctor party. Everybody is invited. literally everybody. We're gonna have Mazda Media, Nurse Kim, Jay Megan might be coming. I already invited, let's see, Mike Crawford is gonna come. I mean, if they can, they will, that kind of thing. Everybody is interested. If they can, they will. So, and I'm working on a playlist for the background. It's gonna be a great party. Yeah, Dickie, let me look that up really quickly because, oh yeah, Nurse Kim Mary will be doing her Punch of Proctors. I'm gonna be doing, so mine is Cuff of McCabe, but anywho, so definitely have that on your radars, be checking, because that is gonna be so much stinking fun. Anybody who wants to actually like get on camera and be on the stream is 100% welcome. It's a party. So yeah, everyone's invited. It's gonna be like a Zoom party. So yeah, that is what's coming up as of right now. So the only thing set in stone is Coral and Dexter, March 9th. I'm taking a weekend off next week. So make sure you're back on Sunday, the 9th of March. Here are other places you can follow me, as well as my email. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know a couple things. A, what would you like to see as members when we start the memberships? What type of members only content would you be interested in? Also, I want to know what emojis, let's think of some super fun emojis that you think would be appropriate to use with regularity. And that's definitely going to help me get started, because I 100%, oh, Dickie, it's spelled Koral. It's Coral with a K. Yep, you got it. Dickie quick with the pivot. So yeah, let me hear from y'all. I want your feedback. I want your input. If there's a case you want me to cover, if there's, something you'd like me to do differently. I am still working on the lighting, guys. It's a work in progress. But yeah, definitely reach out to me with your thoughts. And that is all for now, people. So I'm going to go ahead and cook dinner. But I hope you have a great rest of your night. We'll talk soon. Peace, love, and butt dials. Talk to you later.